Hello, this is the Ramblings of an Indisciplined Mind podcast for Tuesday, June 21st, 2016. As of this recording, Sierra is still missing. So it's a bright, sunny day today. And it's hot. We're in the 80s. Yesterday we were in the 90s. So yeah, summer is here. I'm not complaining. I always prefer the hot to the cold. Even though I may not necessarily always enjoy being hot and sticky, I still, all things considered, as I was just, I just left an eye doctor appointment, as he and I were just commiserating, we would always prefer heat to snow and ice. So yeah, it's kind of a warm one today. You know, I've been listening to the Hamilton soundtrack. That's not news, but you know, there's something that's in there 3 times actually that it's something that's always, I don't want to say amazed me, but it's just like I don't really understand why you would go to the extreme, and that is the practice of dueling. There are 3 separate duels that are recounted in the Hamilton soundtrack, and you know, they're all because of some, you know, slight. They're all because of somebody running their mouth and somebody else taking offense to that, and then it's pistols and dawn and all this BS. And yeah, I've read science fiction works. I'm trying to remember which one it was. It might have been The Wheel of Time, where they had this place where, you know, everybody was looking to. It was a very dueling friendly place. That place, I believe, it was by swords. You know, and you had to be careful, and you had to make sure that you didn't step on somebody's foot, or do something that might anger somebody. And it wasn't like a swords at dawn. It was like, no, right here, right now, we're throwing down. And it was really kind of a cultural thing. And I guess it was with the real dueling in the United States and other places. I know this wasn't limited to only the United States. It probably came from Europe, since we were generally emulating them. And so I've been thinking about it a little bit, and then we were watching the redo of Roots that was on History Channel. And even though I don't believe it was in the book, they included a duel. And it was because, in this case, there was a bit of public shaming, but there was also a bit of physical retaliation for that. Nothing drastic. And so these 2 men end up in a duel. And it was fascinating in that it went deeper into how duels were done. You always you got the sense of you get 2 men, and they're back to back, and they've got guns, and they're kind of holding them up, and they take 10 steps out, and then they whirl around and they shoot. And that's kind of what we're used to seeing this stuff portrayed as. And that seems to be what Hamilton is portraying it as. It's a little tough to tell just from listening to the soundtrack, but the words seem to back that up. But for Roots, they actually showed it as a 3-step process. You had you actually kind of like drew lots or something so that somebody could shoot first, and it wasn't this sudden spin and shoot Old West style. It was if you lose this game of chance at which you've got a 50%, you know, that could be the end of you right then and there. If the guy you are up against is a good marksman. So in the story, they had, I believe that the character who was kind of the main character that we're following was really a pretty despicable slave owner by the name of Tom Lee. I believe he got second. No, I take that back. He got first shot, and he missed. And then the other guy obviously got second shot, and he may have like nicked Tom's ear, maybe. And that was it. And then, so then they go, this is the second, you know, because you already see him with like, you're taking 2 pistols to these things, and it's like 2 per side, so everybody's got 2 pistols. So then they take the second shot if nobody's willing to yield. And for the course of this particular duel, and I think this was largely, as far as the reasoning and the outcome, I'm sure they did it for effect, and there probably isn't, I don't think this is based on an actual historical duel that I've heard about. Tom takes aim, and he shoots, and he hits the guy right along the side of his cheek on the left side, and just lays that open. I mean, you would need stitches going like back to your ear, from your ear up to like to the almost to where your lips come together. It was a nasty looking wound, and then that guy, you know, and you know, the actor did a great job of looking like he was in quite a bit of agony. And then he shot Tom Lee in the hand, in the left hand, right through the center of the palm. And you know, it really drove home A, the barbarity of this practice, and B, you know, how terrifying it would be to take part in it. I mean, before the shooting started, Tom Lee, who's this guy that doesn't really act like he's scared of much of anything, was quite obviously terrified. And then so then once, you know, now they both shot both guns, and these are like flintlocks, so you know there's no really easy reloading. And then if neither side will yield, then it's with the sword, and they're going at it with sword, and they end up both running each other through the abdomen. And this is where they kind of lost it for me from a historical perspective, because I even made the comment to the wife. I said, you know, these guys are, even though, and that's kind of where the duel ended, because I think the other guy yielded at that point. You know, I think these guys are dead. You know, they've got internal bleeding because they've both been run through with a sword. You know, the chances of infection are almost certain. But and I don't know what happened to the other guy, but this Tom Lee character, they did have him surviving. So, and he had to survive for the actual story as written in Ruse. So, but it was just quite striking to me, having, you know, I'm listening to these accounts of these duels in Hamilton, and then to actually get to see one, and it's just like, wow, what a stupid way to fight over such petty things as, you know, you said something bad about my daddy or whatever. I'm really glad that's something we gave up. Yeah, nothing I want to be partaking in, that's for darn sure. But anyway, that's what I was thinking about for today. I will let that be that. I will be back tomorrow, and I'll talk to you then. So, be seeing you.